The F1 driver shuffle silly season is in full swing following Sebastian Vettel's shock retirement statement last week. We have seen some shocking moves in the past, but this year things are already looking more ridiculous than any season previously. Drivers are on the move, teams are making complete fools of themselves, and Mark Webber is sleeping on the job. Want to know what's made one team look completely foolish? Then stick around for the rest of the video. This whole drama is moving fast and is getting more and more insane by the minute. Today, we'll try to give you the timeline of what is happening so you can see just how ridiculous the driver shuffle is getting. We'll also give you our predictions and where we see everyone settling at the end of the shuffle. We would love to hear your most outlandish predictions in the comments as well. I guess the best place to start is with Sebastian Vettel and his retirement. Sebastian has made the decision to leave Aston Martin at the end of the season and retire from Formula 1 to focus on his family and his passions instead. It was commonly known that he had grown to dislike the management of Formula 1 and the directions and decisions it was taking. At first, it seemed like the move came as a shock to Aston Martin, who were looking for ways to keep him in the team for another year. Obviously, the departure of such a huge presence on the grid brought on speculation of who would replace him. Seb himself wanted to see Mick Schumacher take his place, but that seemed a little far-fetched. The big man himself, Lawrence Stroll, was always going to want a proven winner. Something that went under the radar at the time was a quote from Alonso. He told reporters his priority is with Alpine, but added all the teams are an option as long as they don't have two drivers signed. Tellingly, he added, "From the beginning of the summer break, it will be the point I need to sit down and conclude something. The summer break starts on Monday." Every driver has at some point in the past feigned leaving their team to help negotiate a new contract, or pressure their team into signing them up quicker for a longer contract, which is why this probably got ignored. Little did we know how meteoric the thing was that he needed to conclude and how it would send his current team, Alpine, into utter disarray. Everyone's focus shifted back to the Hungarian Grand Prix for the weekend, but in the background, things were moving underneath Alpine's nose. Alonso was seen at the Aston Martin motorhome over the weekend, but Alpine team principal Otmar Safnauer said he wasn't worried. "I was confident even with the discussions between Alonso and Aston Martin. There is nothing wrong with exploring, that we were very close to a deal. I did ask the question, but I was told no, I haven't signed anything." Of course, that was not the case, and in the same interview that happened after Aston Martin had announced they'd signed Alonso for 2023, Otmar made a shocking revelation. "Before he left, I confirmed with him he would be signing soon, and he said, 'Don't worry, I haven't signed with anybody else. We'll continue this in the next couple of days.' And then the next morning, I saw the release from Aston. Alpine had absolutely no idea that Fernando was going to leave the team until the Aston Martin press release announcing him as their driver for 2023. Even worse, they actually thought he would be signed on for another year with an option to extend till the end of 2024 if he kept up his performances. Lawrence Stroll and Aston Martin made absolute fools of Alpine, but the bad news for Otmar and co is nowhere near done. This takes us to the morning of August the 2nd, the day after Aston Martin announced the signing of Fernando. This is where things start moving really fast, and Alpine managed to get themselves into contention for Clown of the Year after the Ferrari strategy team. In a media session on the morning of the 2nd of August, Oscarpiastre's name came up. The Australian is the reigning Formula 2 world champion and has been an Alpine Academy driver for 4 years. The team has made it clear that it wants a return on its investment in his career, and prior to the Alonso move, had been hoping to place him at another team. With Alonso leaving, Piastri instantly became the obvious candidate to replace the two-time champion. But during the interview on Thursday morning, Safnauer was unable to confirm Piastri as Alonso's replacement. Instead, he said that Piastri does have contractual obligations to us, adding, "We do have a legal contract with him into the future for 2023, and if an option is taken up for 2024. There have been reports that Piastri may have signed a pre-contract with McLaren for 2023, and Otmar got asked about this as well. He acknowledged the reports but added, "I don't know what he's done with McLaren, I'm not privy to that." Alpine were obviously very confident that Piastri was under contract and that they could either choose who he drove for or employ his services as a driver if they chose to. The problem Alpine have is with a clause that reportedly exists in Piastri's contract. A few times during the season, when Oscarpiastre had been discussed as a potential driver for 2023, There has been mention of a clause in his contract that meant Alpine had to find him a drive for 2023 by the 31st of July, or he would be free to pursue signing for a seat himself. We haven't got a way of confirming that without either Piastri or Alpine saying it exists, because the contracts are not made public, but that might explain the confusion you're about to witness. At 5:12 PM BST, Alpine issued a press statement saying that Piastri will be promoted to race driver alongside Esteban Ocon in 2023. The statement says the decision has been made in line with the commitments made by the team to the young Australian, but there's no quote from Piastri himself and no confirmation of the news via his social media accounts. At 7 PM BST, Piastri breaks his silence with a tweet that makes clear he has no intention to drive for Alpine next year. I understand that, without my agreement, Alpine F1 have put out a press release late this afternoon that I'm driving for them next year, he wrote. This is wrong, and I have not signed a contract with Alpine for 2023. I will not be driving for Alpine next year. What on earth Alpine thought they were doing by releasing that tweet is beyond the minds of any journalist or fan. Why would they try to announce Piastri as a driver before he has a contract signed? It might be that they don't fully understand the contract and the 31st of July clause does exist. It might also be that behind the scenes they were furious for Fernando leaving and didn't want to be made to look even stupider by having their number one choice reserve driver taken away as well. The tweet wasn't a mistake, as it stayed on their page long after Piastri's tweet denying he's signed for the team. Alpine have responded to requests for comment by saying they believe we're legally correct in our statement but don't have anything further to say. Otmar has said that the team had legal obligations to Piastri which they have fulfilled by giving him thousands of hours in the 2021 car. He finished by saying, "So therefore we do have a legal contract with him into the future for 2023. And if an option is taken up for 2024. So I don't know what he's done with McLaren. Like I said, I'm not privy to that." So Alpine are very much of the opinion that Piastri is legally bound to them for at least one more season. But Oscar has said that he isn't driving for them in 2023. I know, it's obscene, but that is the situation. During all of this going on, Mark Webber, who is Piastri's manager, is in Australia and has been asleep. Otmar says he's been trying to get in contact but can't get through because of the time difference. Alpine look like utter fools in this whole situation, but there are theories about why Piastri and Alonso don't want to drive for them anymore. Alain Prost left the team earlier in the year. Alonso hasn't been happy for much of the season with the team either. Upon leaving, Prost said, "Laurent Rossi's desire is to be alone, not to be polluted by anyone," he said. He told me he no longer needed advice. There is a real desire to put a lot of people on the sidelines. Laurent Rossi wants all the light. Laurent Rossi is the CEO of the Alpine F1 team and has apparently been pissing off a lot of people in the team who worked under Cyril, the previous Alpine team principal. By all accounts, he is an impossible person to get along with, and the exodus of Alonso and now apparently Piastri may be down to him. The question remains, if Piastri isn't driving for Alpine in 2023, where is he driving? You have to assume that if he's turning down a seat at Alpine, then he must have one elsewhere. The popular opinion is that he will go to McLaren. As we said earlier, he reportedly already has a pre-contract signed. F1 journalist Jenna Fryer points out Ricciardo's contract position though. It's my understanding that Ricciardo holds the option for 2023 on his seat and has until September to inform McLaren if he will return. Maybe, just maybe, he should officially claim the seat before 27 other drivers join the family. It is common knowledge that Daniel is in control of his contract, but Otmar managed to give uncertainty to Ricciardo's place at McLaren as well. When asked about Ricciardo, Safnauer compared the situation with Alonso's ability to return to teams, and insisted the priority was to find the right drivers to help the team with its 100-race plan of getting to the front of the field. I mean, if you look at Fernando for example, he comes and goes, and I think that happens to other drivers too. Alpine definitely do look the fool in all of this, but what if they aren't? What if Mark Webber has actually made a massive mistake? It was reported that Alpine had got Oscar a seat at Williams for 2023 and possibly 2024 in place of the outgoing Nicholas Latifi. Apparently, Piastri's team weren't happy with 2 years at Williams, which is fair enough. So instead, Webber has asked around and found him a place at McLaren, or another team instead. But what if Webber has made the mistake in misunderstanding Piastri's contact and has actually just dropped him in the proverbial pile of poo? Whatever is going on with this whole situation, it is the most entertaining driver shuffle in our memory, and we can't wait for the rest of it to unfold. The only question remaining is, where do you think Piastri will end up? Let us know your reactions and predictions in the comments below, and until next time, drive safe and bye for now.